still, September 14th. It's still September 14th. And this is funny. It is funny. So, still reflecting on this coaching business stuff, right? And I'm laughing because I mentioned how the universe will put people in your path, right? Whether it's person, whether it's sign, like I truly believe that it's a sign, that it's you know, it could be a song, it could be a person, television show. I've met enough people and I've had enough experiences for myself to know that messages come in all shapes and sizes and forms. Like I've had friends tell me, I'm watching this TV show. Have you heard this show? And I'm like, I've heard of it, but I never watched it. And they're like it's dictating my life. I'm like, great, you know, like they're getting guidance from something that someone created, right? For a purpose. I happened to share with someone once when I was hitting a real low point. And this is within the last year and a half, maybe 2. I hit a real low point. I hadn't hit that low point in a long time. Where you think about, not suicide per se, but where you think about, gosh, wouldn't life be better if I were alive? Like there's this genuine feeling of like, it would just be easier to not exist. And I shared this with it was this fire sign. We were out for a walk. And I shared with him that I had gotten to that low point again, because I've had it before. And it had been a while. And I was in the car with my ex, and we were driving. I think, was I driving? I don't remember. I don't remember if I was driving. I just remember being in the car down 8th Street in Upland. And I remember I think I was driving because the billboard was on this side. And I remember softly asking him, don't you ever just wish that you just didn't exist? That it would just be easier to live life, to not live. Or I said something. I remember asking the question, and I was like really like numbing it, you know, where I was like at that point of like depression where I was really just riding that numbness. And I turn and I look, and I kid you not, big ass billboard, black, white lettering. And it said something, I don't remember what it said, but I remember the feeling. And it was basically addressing suicide. And it was basically saying, like, don't end your life. Something. It was short, sweet, but it spoke to that thought that I just had. And I just broke down in tears. And that was just a billboard. I've mentioned it before. And I had this conversation with my sister-in-law where I was just like, don't you ever just hear people talk or see things? And it's, I mean, if I go to extreme for it to make sense to people, where it's just like this, oh, like it's like bold and it's just standing out, and you just know like you need to pay attention to it. I told her, I'm like, I've had moments like that when people say things like it. I remember it happened with Hannah. I remember I was watching Hannah and I was learning from her. And she would say certain phrases. And it was like, that's what the feeling that I would get. It was like this tingling, physical experience. Very subtle, but it was enough to where I was just like, whoa, like I need to latch on to that piece of information for some reason. Like, and that's how it's been with music, with songs, words, lyrics. So anyways, why am I saying this? MJ. MJ, her morning messages from Soulful Revolution have been you know, I've mentioned it before, like when I'm really struggling, and if there's whoever needs this message, like I'll listen to it because there's always something I can take from it. And I've learned to discern what information is for me. And I think in the video before this, I mentioned when I was shifted from teaching into mental health, there was this spark, this little subtle, like tug, subtle, very subtle, in this awareness of like, okay, this feels right, right? And mentioning that there was that little spark with this fire sign. But at the same time, I reached out to this fire sign just to check in, and really, you know, I think I mentioned it, and just to be honest and say, hey, you know, I forgot there were 3 things that I shared with them, and one, the last one was really like, you know, I'd like to see you again, if that's what you're still wanting, right? I haven't heard back. I haven't heard back, and I'm learning, right? I think I struggled with that a little more before, and now it speaks to what they have going on, right? And if I think about it too, like I was even thinking about it. I have a client who canceled the session, and I reached out and I was like, hey, you know, are you wanting to reschedule? Or are you wanting to end services? Like, that's fine. Just say something, right? And I'm guilty, right? Guilty of not returning people's phone calls, of not, right? And it just speaks to what is going on. How unbalanced parts of our lives are to a certain degree that we can't get to certain tasks, right? And, I mean, clear example, I was behind in a lot of stuff all the time because I had a lot on my plate. So I wasn't able to address everyone's needs as much as I tried. And so yesterday, you know, it was that moment where I realized I'm like, I can't be waiting for people. I need to do things myself, right? And those who are available will be available, right? So I reached out to my cousins. I was like, oh, that's right. Like, I have cousins who are doing this, who are involved in that, who are wanting to help me. And I said it yesterday. I was like, I have a lot of people, not a lot of people who do coaching. They're doing a lot more private practice, and I don't want to do private practice. Excuse me, because I really want to incorporate the spirituality component into it. How do I do it where I'm not having to follow certain guidelines? I mean, there's certain guidelines, right, that you have to just create for safety reasons, but where I'm not having someone breathing down my back about like documentation a certain way, or, you know, like it gets excessive to a certain point, right? If you've ever done documentation for the government, it's no picnic. And I doubt that you'll find anybody who says it is. So there's that, right? There's that of like not waiting for, if I reach out to other people and I don't hear from them, right? I'm not going to hang my life on them. I'm going to keep moving forward, which is funny because the video that's coming out tomorrow, I speak to that too. Like, I'm not going to wait. So I'm grateful that I reached out to the people that I did and who responded, because it got me thinking again. So there's 2 storylines. One, I haven't heard from this fire sign. I know he's okay, so that's off my plate. But last night and this morning, I went to bed thinking, I'm like, oh, if he's unbalanced, This morning too. This morning was because I heard MJ's morning message and I rolled my eyes. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Well, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. In terms of just whatever. And I'm saying whatever because it's triggering me. But really, really, right? I know what I want to, right? And balance is number one. Excuse me, balance. I'm seeking it for myself, and so then I'm seeking it in those, not seeking it in other people, but I'm assessing, are you balanced? And then I'll ask the question, are you balanced? Because if you ain't balanced, homie, don't play that no more. Been there, done that. No. And I went to bed saying that, I'm like, no, God, like, I don't care what the connection is. No. I am wanting something balanced. Whoever it's with. Doesn't have to be with this TF stuff. No. So that lately that's been MJ's messages on TF, and I'm just like, whatever. TF, twin flames, for those of you that don't know what that is. And I'm just like, whatever. I don't know. I am just looking for happiness. I mean, I feel good with me. I'm happy being here. I continue to like just feel good being here. If nothing changes, I'm good, right? So it's funny because it's like she's just speaking to certain statements, certain comments, and I'm just like, I just declared that, right? And of course there's, it's all connected, right? But it continues to be funny to me, and so it's entertaining enough so I keep looking at it. So that's one part. The second part was that I keep thinking about how I'm going to market myself, right? With this new coaching thing. And thinking, gosh, am I going to have to like create a whole new Instagram account? A whole new like, because I have this platform, clearly, right? I started a Instagram account for this channel, clearly. And the idea of having to create another persona, right? A professional persona. I was like, I'm like, ugh. I have my private one, and I had to make it private because during that time there were, coincidentally, purposefully, right? Everything with purpose. If those of you haven't watched from the beginning, there was a couple situations when I had declared that and put that out there where I'm posting those videos. There were these messages that I was getting, and then the realization that I'm like, oh, I have pictures of my kid, of the twins there, of the kids, of younger kid people, people who don't belong to me, not that people belong to each other, but just, I want to make sure I protect, right, my loved ones as best as I can, right, within the means that I can, in a balanced way. If they were my kids, it'd be different, right, but they're not. And so I want to be mindful of that. That's why I put my private account back to private, because it was open for a while. But the thought of having to create this whole new persona just for this work, I was like, do I really want to do that, right? Like, what? I mean, I have a job, yes. Do they know about what I'm doing? No. But this job is just transitional. Like, I know it's just transitional until this, whatever I'm supposed to do, right, takes off. So that's been in my head. Yesterday, this morning, and struggling with this idea of like, I want to be honest. I want, part of this platform and doing this is the realization that I had of like, I have to speak my truth. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter how it comes out. Whether or not people like it. This is my truth, and I just have to speak it. That's all I know, right? And do I really want to create this other persona? Because I'm using my cousin's platform. In essence, she's inviting me to speak my level of expertise to this group of people. And so then, she's asking me, she's like, hopefully you'll have all of that other, your YouTube or whatever stuff set up. Not YouTube, my professional, I guess, account. And there was a part of me that was just like, you know what, I'm gonna have to go back and have to tell her, like, are you comfortable? Are you comfortable with me being completely authentic? Because I don't think I plan to create another persona to provide my services. It sounds so funny, like my persona. Like I have an alter ego, or, I'm putting on a show. No, like, this is me. This is authentically me, right? This is who you're getting. Crazy and all, this is who you're getting. So I need to ask my cousin and say, hey, if you want to promote me, it's going to have to be the authentic me with the YouTube. Like, I can't, it's like the YouTube channel and my Instagram page are my kids. Like, they're glued to my hip now. I can't deny them. This past year has been a part of my life that I can't deny anymore, right? That I have to fully embrace. However all the videos have come out, that's how they've come out. And I have to speak for that. So that's what I was getting to, that conclusion of, like, okay, that's what I'm going to choose to do, right? So then I finished my session with the client this morning, and I have this huge gap between now and a couple hours till my next one. And so she puts another, MG puts another video, and it's also speaking to TFs. Excuse me. And then she says, so I guess there's like, I don't know much about it, because I didn't look into it, just because of the drama and, like, relationship stuff and blah. So I never really dove in to that world, if you will. Like, I was aware of it. I have some information, but I'm no way any expert. And I've kind of, like, because of the like, what my understanding of it was, of, like, this intense connection and this learning of lessons and triggering mirror each other. And I remember even thinking, like, I remember when I was first introduced, like, I'm like, it doesn't make sense, because why am I getting intense triggers from other people? Like, it doesn't have to be this intimate partner. Like, all these other people around me, I'm being extremely triggered by. So it didn't make sense. So I'm just like, okay, it's based on this notion of love, and, that's where a lot of, I'm assuming, right? There's a lot of true love, my other half is out there type of storylines for the movies and stories that people tell. So I'm kind of like, when I hear stuff like that, I think mostly because for the longest time, like, I never really felt like, and I was trying to think about it too. I'm just like, when was the last time that I ever felt like there was this, my other soul is somewhere out there, and I feeling like, I mean, I remember feeling broken and feeling like something was wrong with me, but I don't remember ever feeling like, unless I was tying into that fairy tale of, like, your other half, right, is somewhere out there. But never really truly feeling that. It was really more feeling this feeling of brokenness and something being wrong with me, and having to see myself in parts almost. That's what I experienced for most of my life, with the exception of this recent person from my past, where, this was like driven completely, right? That was a completely new experience for me. And so, why am I sharing this? What's the purpose of this EV? I had a purpose and I got distracted. Yeah, I never really had that feeling of, like, this other person is somewhere and now only feel whole and complete with them. I think my connection to having someone with me was more out of sense of stability and security and safety. That's where it came from me. Not to say that's the same for other people, but for me, that's where it came from. So yeah. So there's that. So I know what I want. I want someone who's aligned with what I'm doing, aligned with the work I'm clearly being pulled back into. Only now I'm incorporating the spirituality component, not religious component, spirituality component. Shedding light on stuff that people don't want to talk about, right? So when I heard MJ's message about, oh, some of you, that's what your mission is to do. Like, you're just supposed to speak your authentic truth. Raise my hand because, I've mentioned before. Tried holding, journals, always gotten exposed. Then went to the one other extreme of not being paid attention to enough, right? To where I felt like I was seen, to where I felt like I was known. And now exposing this part of my life on my terms, right? Speaking my authentic truth on my terms. And those, who resonate with it will resonate with it, and those who don't, and those who are in the middle will explore it. So now, no. So anyways, so when MJ said that, it was one of those moments of like, where her words just kind of stood out, and I'm like, that's for me. That one's for me. And realizing, okay, it was just validation, right, of what I already knew in terms of how I'm going to introduce this whole coaching or start working on this coaching stuff of, no, like, I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to keep it like this. Hopefully no one's used the you becoming label or name for a business. So something I need to look into. But no, this is what they get. So I need to talk to my cousin about how she chooses to introduce me. And that this is how I don't even think I need to give that power to her, but just saying, this is how I choose to be introduced, right? This is how I want to be known. This is, and are you comfortable with that, right? And being that it's the first time that I work with my cousin in this platform, I might be a little more lenient and be like, okay, let's meet somewhere in the middle, right? Because you didn't expect this from me. And I don't know if I think she knows of my YouTube channel, but I don't think she's seen all of my videos or knows really what's gone down, right? Everyone's involved in their own stuff. But I'm just speaking to, again, knowing what's aligned with you, and God has yet to blow this up in my face. The universe has yet to blow this up in my face. So I'm just going to be following the breadcrumbs. Yeah. That's where I'm at on that. And that's all I wanted to say on that. But someone just sent me something funny. That's it. That I'm going to be authentic with this coaching stuff, and that it's going to be, I'm not going to change anything. I'm not going to remove any videos or any postings from my Instagram account for this YouTube channel. Like, this is me. This is who you're getting, right? To help guide you. And this is clearly not my trailer for getting clients, but some people don't know who they're getting. Don't know who's sitting on the other side of that experience with them, and then there's always going to be a part of you, because it's happened to me before with some of my clients where I sense that, where they feel like I'm judging them, and I have to let them know, like, I need you to know that I have unconditional positive regard for you and your journey. Like, I am not judging you at all. And maybe this way, if people want to know more about me, right, I can do so in an authentic manner. Hey, this is the type of coach that you're getting, right? Where I'm bearing it all out, no shame, nothing to hide, able to talk about conversations that a lot of people maybe aren't comfortable talking about. That's me. Ba-dum-bumps. So yeah, just want to speak to that realization that that's the direction that I'm going, and wish me luck. That's it. Bye. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me. So take care.